All right, so okay. Okay, so I think it's time for starting. I think we waited a little bit, but we're going to start. If not, we're going to get some delays. We have a quite packed agenda today. So first and foremost, hello everyone, and thank you for joining this webinar. It's around 20 degrees here in Barcelona. It's partially cloudy, honestly. It's like cloudy and sun. I'm Davide, and again, welcome to the BSides Barcelona 2021. Before talking about today's this year's edition, let's have a little bit a look of what BSides is and its history for the ones of you who don't know about security BSides. It is actually a framework for creating events that actually have been mostly used to create security conferences. And it basically is a framework for local communities of cybersecurity enthusiasts to build and run these events. And the goal is to create these kind of like an intimate, familiar atmosphere that foster collaboration and where the conversation for the next big thing happen and specifically what the community needs and what's trending about cybersecurity in the industry and in the local community as well. It all started in 2009 when several speakers didn't get into the Black Hat, didn't get accepted to the Black Hat in Las Vegas back then because they weren't basically slots available for them. And therefore, they decided to create like a side conference, which is now called BSides Las Vegas. The history behind BSides Barcelona, it's a little bit different. We also start as a spin-off of the local Barcelona cybersecurity community. I think it's been like 4 years, kind of more or less. And so we did several talks, workshops, beers, we gathered around the city, and the community was quite engaged and committed to keep going and create contents. And so we decided to build a security conference. We had a chat with some of the original founders of BSides, and they gave us the idea to create the conference as a BSides one using that framework. And we did so in 2019 when we held our first edition. It was in person here in Barcelona, and it featured one day. It was just one day, the whole day. It was one track. There were 9 speakers and 280 participants, including volunteers, organizers, sponsors, and attendees. These are the people who made this possible. Again, they worked relentlessly in the past few months to making sure that this edition was as rich and interesting as possible. So big shout out to them. They made an incredible job. And you can find them in Slack with the BSides little badge next to their name. And so let's move now to what we have now. Okay. So we have this year edition. We have 2 days. Well, actually, it's 2.5 days, honestly. We have 3 tracks, which are named after Barcelona's most iconic buildings and elements in the city, which is the Sagrada Familia, the Parc Güell, and Arc de Triomphe. We actually have a 4th track, which is the Montjuic, where we usually have we do have workshops in there. Indeed, we do have this year 20 speakers, 2 workshops, one that ran this morning, and the next one will run tomorrow morning. And we have 1 roundtable, which will take place tomorrow. We are going to have Slack channels for communication. We have a channel for each track, and then we have the general and the hallway channels. We're going to use for that, if you need to reach out directly to us, to the volunteers, if there's any troubleshooting or any issue that you have, just write in there and we will communicate. For talks and for questions around the talks, we need to, so it's going to use the Zoom webinar, which is what we are using right now. But we are also streaming on YouTube. So for all the attendees that don't prefer YouTube, or they don't have the means to join Zoom. And also we have digital swags, of course. You will see through the day and tomorrow how you can win some of them, but we also have some free giveaways, to give all of you. So check Slack and be here in the tracks. We will share more later how you can get those. Also, thanks to you and the organizers, this conference has been possible. We also want to acknowledge and thank our partners, our supporters that help us to build this conference. There's a huge part of this conference helping in the logistics and swags as well. So I want to thank and have a big shout out to our leading supporters, King and Tynes. Big shout out to our contributing supporter, OutZero. This year, we partnered with Spanish communities, cybersecurity communities, to spread the word and the message around BSides Barcelona. And we want to thank Tierra de Hackers, Flu Project, and Dragon Jar. Great help and came from our digital swag supporters. You will see our swags from Pact, Applied Network Defense, Securizame, and Pentesting Lab giving away during this conference. So just to conclude this welcome and this introduction, what's going to happen next? So we were going to have a few minutes break, and then Simona Levi in this track will share her experience and tips on how to implement e-democracy for institutions, and also with a focus on education. Then at 4:15, we're going to have in this track, Sagrada Familia, the talk from Zwarup Yermalkar that will show us how easy or hard it could be to turn your mobile phone into a surveillance device. In Park Gale, we will meet with Brian Contos that will tell us how leverage our leadership skills to communicate cybersecurity needs effectively to the board, to the company board and management. And then in the Arc de Triomphe, Artem Svetkov, I hope I spelled that correctly, will tell us how to shift security left in the development pipeline by analyzing our coder credentials in code, thanks to Whisper, which is an open source software. Don't forget to follow us if you don't do already on Twitter with the Barcelona BSides handle, and shout out the conference, communicate, create tweets, follow the hashtag BSidesBCN21. And we're going to have a couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes of break, and then we will have Simona Levi with the keynote. And again, thank you very much and welcome to BSides Barcelona 2021.